Okay, part 2 to the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram. In the first video, we went over how this ritual corresponds to the tree of life. Now in this ritual, we're going to be going over how it corresponds to the human body, how it corresponds to you, what you will be doing while you're doing this part of the ritual. And the reason why this is a two-part video is because the Qabbalistic cross is really the most important part of the ritual. People wonder what the lesser banishing ritual is. A lot of people think it's just a banishing ritual to cleanse an area of unwanted things. And yes, it does that, but there's a lot more to it than that. And here's part one. Part one is getting your body able to actually be able to banish. Because if you're unaware of your actual energy, the energy that you use to banish, you could draw stars all day long and it's not going to do anything. So, back to the lesser banishing ritual. You're standing in your circle. I shouldn't have drawn that yet. That's not there yet. Pretend that's not there. You're in your circle, and you're growing your astral body to giant proportions. Now, what does that mean? A lot of people think that you're transferring consciousness over. And if you're that good that you can do that, kudos. I can't. What I do is I close my eyes and envision either myself or what I expect my astral body to look like, growing and growing and growing and growing. And every so often I look down, like I'll grow, look down, see the state I'm in, grow some more, look down, see the country, continent, whatever, keep growing, look down, see the earth, the moon revolving around my feet. Now, when I envision myself as I am here, dressed up and all that, I don't have a robe, I do this in semi-normal clothes, it didn't really feel right. So I envision myself in my astral body nude but not really exposed. And just to clear this up, I don't do rituals naked. So, you continue to grow your astral body. Look down, see the earth, see the moon going around the earth, revolving around the earth, grow larger than that. Eventually, the sun kind of rests at my solar plexus while I watch the planets going around. And then I grow even further, growing taller and taller and taller and taller until the sun's at my feet. And the planets are revolving around my feet like tiny little marbles. And this is something I've not read anywhere, I just made up on my own. I watch them spin until they all line up like an equinox. And at that point, I just dash upwards. My body grows so huge as everything just shrinks down into the just tiniest speck of light, kind of like a star. Not really standing on it, but underneath you. Now you are in a void of space with all of existence, just a tiny speck of light underneath you. And as said in the last video, you see a tiny speck of brilliant white light off in the distance above you. And then this speck of light starts to formulate a sphere of brilliant white light about 9 inches in diameter above your head. Now, looking up and acknowledging this brilliant, vibrating sphere of white light about the size of a dinner plate, you will take the index finger from your power hand with the rest of your hand closed in a fist, however you want to do it, just as long as it's not like, and you will reach up and touch it with your index finger and bring it down. Now, like I said, whatever way that makes you feel it's working, do it. But what I do, I don't bring it directly down. I'll bring it down into the front. So I stare this brilliant white sphere kind of in the eye before I put it into my third eye. and you touch right there in between the eyebrows, third eye level, and vibrate. Ata. And if you can hear any background noise, I apologize. So, you have now taken this brilliant white sphere, brought it down, and filled your head with it at your third eye level, awakening your third eye. Now, with your index finger still there, you begin to trace downwards, and it will formulate a beam of purifying white light going down your middle pillar. Now your hand will probably stop right around the groin level, unless you have freakishly long arms or something. I've seen people whose hand might go down to a little bit below the groin, but mine stops there. And now you point down towards the ground and direct that beam of light further down into that tiny little beam of light, tiny little speck of light that is existence and beyond. So this beam of light comes from the sphere in your head and goes down off into infinity. Now, as your hand is down there pointing towards the ground, you vibrate Malkut. Now, this is not the correct spelling, per se. This is the correct pronunciation. And you have this as long and drawn out as possible. Now, after vibrating Malkut, you bring your index finger up and over to the right shoulder. With your index finger now on your right shoulder, you vibrate Gabura, as long and drawn out as possible, and as you do that, it expands into the infinite universe just as below. After vibrating that, you move your right index finger from your right shoulder to your left shoulder and vibrate Gadula. And that energy also goes outwards into infinity. Now, after you vibrated your left shoulder, you bring both hands and clasp them upon your heart center, just above the solar plexus. If you've ever seen the video where I actually show myself, it's right about where I got my tattoo right there. Clasp your hands around that center and envision a brilliant white breastplate formulating around your chest, like a brilliant white light energy tank top. And vibrate. Find a place to write this. Le Olam Amen. Hold this for 20 to 30 seconds. Hold the image in your head of your head being filled with that white sphere, the energy outpouring, and the brilliant white breastplate. And take 3 deep breaths and release the vision. And then you'll be moving on to step 2 of the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram, which would be the formulations of the pentagram. But just to get this out there, what all this means is Hebrew acronyms for thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. And this concludes the Qabbalistic Cross. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe. We'll be finishing the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram very soon.